Hi guys, welcome back to Lunatic Astrology. I'm your astrologer Lori Lothian, and I'm recording at night with recovering from my second bout of pink eye. So it's glaringly bright in my ring light, but it's dark in my apartment. So if I'm squinting at you and my eyes look really weird, yes, it's been a really interesting journey I've been going through in the 12th house perfection age. So let's get going and talking about Mars opposing Uranus, past the pepper, all signs forecast, and let me tell you what I think about it. So first of all, let's talk about Mars and Uranus and how they interact with each other every 2 years, when Mars will come through the sky and is every 24-month circuit and come into what is an opposition or 180-degree angle to Uranus. First of all, those energies are explosive. They're combustible. They look like protests. They look like accidents. They look like rebellions. They look like, hot and spicy stuff like pepper. And, it also is very much about the idea of what Uranus wants, which is freedom, independence, invention, the new, the outside the box, and Mars, who is the energy that would apply pressure for those things to come to bear. So they're not really particularly ill at odds, like they don't not like each other. The sky god Uranus and the god of war Mars, they're not at odds with each other really. But when they're in an oppositional relationship, there's going to be some place in which you can see somehow both the agendas don't come together so darn well. So for instance, Mars could be police people, tear gassing rioters, right? Rebellion, Uranus rioting, Mars tear gassing cops, cops tear gassing, or riot police tear gassing the rioters. Now here's the deal, and I kid you not. The last time we had Mars opposing Uranus was November 24th, 2019. What happened on that day? We had an accident. We had a plane crash that killed, I think, 24 people in the Congo. We had anti-government protests and demonstrations all through the country in South America of Colombia, protesting against the president. And there was a huge amount of civil unrest. And then on the 24th, on the day that this happened way back when, 2 years ago, 2019, November, and then we had demonstrations and sit-ins during a Harvard-Yale football game. 500 students sat on the football field to stop the game at halftime to protest for climate change. And once again, there's even stories of some of those students being arrested, Mars, the cops, and or tear gassed, and the Mars energy, the military energy, the law, the enforcement energy, and Uranus, the freedom energy. So plane crashes, accidents, extreme weather, especially with Scorpio, it could be floods and water weathers, hurricanes and stuff like that, cyclones and all of that. That's all that kind of vibe, and plus the protests and the unrest and the enforcing of protests, or to squash the protest, are some ways that Mars and Uranus opposing each other can show up. So get ready for this one. This is coming up this week. Now we've got a big week ahead. I'm going to go through all signs. So if you haven't watched my eclipse video, all signs in great depth, please watch it. The link to that I'll put in the description box, okay, so you don't miss it, because I go into a lot of detail about how this eclipse on November 19th, I mean, gosh, guys, what a week, right? Literally, this Mars-Uranus opposition is on the 17th, exact on the 17th of November. And then 2 days later, we have a lunar eclipse on fixed star Algol, off with their heads, the Medusa myth. So it's going to be, to say it's intense is an understatement. This is going to be one of the weeks that we'll look back on in 2021 from the resting place of, New Year's Eve 2021 and go, wow, that was an intense time. Wow, that middle of November was insane. So trust me on this one. So the other thing I want to say is that I'm going to do the all signs. So I'm going to give you a bit of an idea where this might happen in your chart. But Uranus has only been in Taurus, right, where he's traveling now, in order to oppose Mars, the two of them, since 2019. So the last time we had this was 2019. We've got 2 more rounds in 2023 and 2025 fall. And then we're done. So it's a particular flavor of, Uranian freedom-seeking energy. And in Taurus, where Uranus is not comfortable, he's in his detriment there in modern rulership, but he's trying to break up stagnant forms around currency, around finances and money, around agriculture, around climate, around things that grow. Think all the themes of Taurus, okay? And Mars is where we get the oppositional energy once every 2 years. In this case, this is as Mars is going through the sign of Scorpio. So Let's go ahead and do the all signs. And I hope I didn't scare you and make you feel like anxious about the week. That's not my intention here. What I'm trying to do is simply paint the sky picture past the pepper, as I think it may occur in the week ahead. All right, so we're going to go through the all signs. I'll show you this picture briefly of the sky, and then I'll do the all signs without showing you the picture of the sky. As you can see, this is what it looks like on the 17th, and you can see that Mars is at 12 degrees Scorpio, opposite Uranus at 12 degrees Scorpio. If you have planets at 12 degrees of the signs of Scorpio and Taurus, all right, or 12 degrees of Aquarius and Leo, those are the fixed signs, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fixed angles, you'll feel this intensely, okay, especially if you're like your ascendant or your sun or your moon in particular is at 12 degrees or so, maybe let's say from about 9 degrees to 14 degrees of Scorpio or Taurus or my God, my brain, Leo or Aquarius. And those people get a lot of this energy. Like I have my Saturn at 9 degrees of Aquarius, like, ah! So I may feel this particularly gritty energy in the sky, it more so as it forms a T-square to my Saturn. All right, so the other thing I want to point out is that there's an exalted moon here. Moon is exalted in Taurus conjunct Uranus, really intense energy. This can be about the people exalting in a desire for freedom and rebellion. It doesn't have to be USA and Canada. I mean, it could be anywhere in the world. The people are protesting, rebelling, pushing back, rising up somewhere in the world. Just pay attention to this. Now, Mars opposing Uranus, the people rebelling, it may even be something awfully intense, like China decides to try to take over Taiwan. And of course, there will be rebellion in the streets from the Taiwanese, or I'm trying to think of another hot spot on the globe right now. Something in the Middle East may really pick up steam, and some Middle East tensions, like we say, between Iran and Iraq could pick up. I don't know, but we do have something that looks kind of military, and with Mars rising in Scorpio into visibility around the 3rd week of November, that has also got a military signature around it. So I'm just going to say we may be looking at some serious military action, some sort of warlike action percolating this week and next week in the global storyline. You can see that the nodes are here because the eclipse is going to happen, south node, north node, on the 19th, and that's because the moon will catch up to the sun, and then we'll have that lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus at 27 degrees on Algol, the sign of the Medusa, eye of the Medusa, off with their heads. We could see somebody losing their head, literally, like a head of state being deposed, hopefully not assassinated, or coming off of power. All right, let's go ahead and do the all signs, and I'm going to stop the share and come back to you guys to do that. And don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, please. And don't forget to hit the little bell for notifications. So supposedly, you know, when I post something. Check out my newsletter subscription. I'm giving away a free course when you sign up, plus a 30% discount code for being on my email list for my weekly Cosmic Moonshine Swig of Cosmic Moonshine forecast letter. And you're going to get, ahead of the curve with what's happening in the whole week, a whole week ahead write-up for you with strategic action you should take. And did I say everything I need to say? I do a free draw reading every month for my newsletter crew. Somebody wins a free reading with me too. So why not join, right? Then I have a way that I can connect with you guys on a regular basis besides YouTube. All right, so let's get going. I want to start off today, and I think I'm going to, I like to change it up, right? The signs that I start with, you might have noticed that. Not always making it Aries first. We're going to start with Scorpio because, let's just start. Let's start with Taurus. I'm just having a moment. But you know why? It's because we are going to experience. No, let's start with Scorpio. Oh my God, my timestamper is going to hate me. We'll start with Scorpio because it is Mars and Scorpio who's doing the action, okay? Whew, all right, let me get this screen ready to talk to you. I'm minimizing what I'm seeing, and we're off to the races. So, guys, this is intense. Scorpio people, especially if your sun, moon, or rising is near the 12th degree within 3 degrees of either side, your Mars is on your ascendant. You become the martial opposing energy that's pressing against the Uranian rebellion, independence, and freedom element. Somewhere in your life, you'll experience this most likely with 7th house people who are that. Business partners and spouse, sometimes your clients, significant others in your life. There's definitely disruption coming from the house of relationship, especially marriage, and energy that could be really intense, and you're going to be likely in a combative mood and pushing against that energy to see if you can't quell it or control it or calm it down. And, honestly, Mars is strong here. I should have said that earlier. Mars is strong in Scorpio. Uranus is not so strong. This bodes more like the people are going to lose and the powers of enforcement are going to win. So if you want to pressure will and your power over somebody, is probably going to be something you're able to do in this around the 17th, 16th, 17th, and 18th. But I caution you against doing that because a longer term consequence may not be worth the pain it incites. Plus, you're also experiencing Pluto trine the sun, which all signs are, just the day before. And you're going to be feeling a sense of empowerment in a positive way. So why squish this sense of feeling the power of your being in a strong way by being a control freak over somebody you love? Give them the freedom they need, maybe. Try to resist the temptation to lord control over someone. That's all I'm saying, okay? Let's keep moving. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign people. You guys are having the Mars in your 12th house of your dreams and your meditations and your reveries and foreign shores. Sometimes you do business from foreign shores, hidden enemies, and it's opposing Uranus in your 6th house. Now, this can look like somebody doesn't have your back at work in the house of the workplace, or you're seeking freedom, or somebody in the work or coworker space is seeking greater freedom. But also with Mars in the house of hidden enemies, opposing Uranus in the house of coworkers and colleagues in the workplace and the work you do, this is the axis of disruption. And, technically, I don't like to think of the world as a place of hidden enemies existing, but the 12th can be that place. Now, your own self-undoing, your own willful self-undoing, unraveling you from the house of addictions and bad habits, the 12th house, opposing Uranus, your work life could be something to watch for on the 16th, 17th, 18th. Don't spoil a good thing. The day before, Sun is trining Pluto, giving you a sense of financial power and a greater sense of self-worth. So the muddying of the waters here could be that something is disruptive in the work environment or the work routines, or maybe your health routines for some of you Sagittarius, and you're going to kind of lose your cool. Maybe you get a bad, blood work back from your doctor, and you drown your sorrows in too much wine or something. Mars being the hedonistic type of excess revelry in the 12th house of addiction. So just be cautious for that energy and don't give into it. And don't have fights with coworkers. It won't be worth it. See them a peacemaker at heart. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. You guys get a lot of juice from Mars in your 11th house. And Mars has been in your 11th house for a bit now, and he'll be there until, oh my goodness, I should have thought about that. October 30th to mid-December. And, so you're getting a lot of action and gung-ho and drive and ambition and movement forward and passion in the place of your dreams and wishes and your aspirations and your longer term goals for your life, and maybe even some financial gains possibly coming to you from your career. Although with Mars there, it may be something you had to fight for, that promotion, that raise, that accommodation for your financial well-being. Now you're coming into conflict with that Uranian energy in the 5th house. So that could be your lover, your children, that can be those sorts of people. The 5th house is like those people. It's not all about you in the chart. I hate the modern interpretation of the chart where every planet and every house is about yourself. It's not. So in this case, you could even have a friend or an ally, Mars, probably male, going against your lover, going against your children, or something like that, right? The axis of the 11th and the 5th. So that conflict combat is there. There's a desire for freedom with Uranus in the 5th house. You may desire unconventional love relationships with lots of kink and freedom and all of that, maybe polyamory or something. That happened since 2019, that Uranus earnestly entered your house of the sexuality, the love, the lovers, the romance. So you've been going way outside the box, and he tiptoed in there in 2018. So a lot of you Caps are really like, you've gone really far out in your sex and love life stuff. And now you've got this energy of opposition from the 11th too. So who could be opposing? A friend is judging you. It could be a coworker, colleague. Sometimes the 11th house is that. So watch for that. You have a beautiful, we all do, Sun, Pluto trine the day before this intense November 17th energy, still playing out that day, which offers you a pure power, a pure kind of sense of power coming from your ability to be connected to larger groups of others with whom you feel aligned. And so and also with your deeper aspirations and goals. So don't let that be polluted by unnecessary Uranian Mars robust conflict. Aquarius, sun, moon, rising sign. I just heard my phone ring. You know, my mic does this thing. I've got a mic in front of me. There we go. And all of a sudden you lose my shoulder. Okay, so I'm an Aquarius rising. And so here we go. We get the oppositional energy of Mars in our 10th house of career, ambition, reputation, action in the world, status, opposing Uranus in the house of home next to that exalted moon. Now, for a lot of us Aquarians, when the moon is in our 4th house, we feel like our home is exalted and we really love it up a lot. And I just yesterday cleaned the whole place and decorated and deep cleaned. And that's what happens when the moon, which has been in Taurus, well, sorry, it will be in Taurus. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. It will be in Taurus on the 17th. I'm just getting ready for that. But it's going to be a day in which things are going on from your home life that are intense in your domestic private life, as opposed to your career Aquarians, or in the home environment. And with Uranus, he likes to create freedom, rebellion, and change. And this could be some kind of lurching, sudden change that's percolating regarding where you live, but you could be in a conflict with an authority figure about this decision or about where you think you want to go. So who would want to conflict with you or combat against your choices around home and where you live, or your lifestyle in your home, things like that. With a Pluto trine the sun, oh, your mother too. The 4th house is a house of the mom. And so erratic energy there with Uranus, and then the tension from Mars. You could have an erratic combat with your mom, some argument with your mom as well, possibly anyway, but I still think it's more about home versus career. What else? Is there anything else? Yeah, Pluto is trining the sun the day before and the day of this combative Mars Uranus stuff. And that's really feeling good for your career. I mean, the sun is in your Scorpio career house. The 10th will be until Scorpio season's over, right? Around the 22nd or so of the month of November. And so you get the whole solar month. Like a lot of you Aquarians love how your career goes in the month of 3rd week of October to November every year. Things are really good for you in your career with the sun in your 10th. But that sun is powering up a harmonious sextile to Pluto in the house of your addiction, self-undoing, reverie, but also income from foreign shores and lands like PayPal and Stripe can be money that we get from 12th house things. So a lot of you guys are powering up that area and getting a real sense of important flow. So don't let that flow that's building over there in your career and your money maybe undo you because of some stupid conflict of somebody in authority. It just occurred to me because the 10th house is reputation. Somebody may try to skewer some of you Aquarians, you know, to go to battle about something to do with your reputation. So try not to take it personally. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. Hang on a sec, guys. I need some water. I'll be right back for the Pisces folks. Okay, Pisces, I'm back. Sorry, I need an H2O in a wine glass. Okay, so Pisces folks, you get the Mars energy in your 9th house, where he's going to be until like mid-December, been there since October 30th, powering up your higher education, your foreign trips and foreign lands travel, should you try to get to a foreign land. I guess you're going to be able to get there and stuff like that. However, I'm going to say that you could have a combative thing going on for some of you Pisces with somebody in a position of spiritual authority, because the 9th house could be like your pastor, your minister, your mentor, your guide, your life coach or something, opposing this freedom-loving, rebellious, instinctual energy of Uranus, wanting to change things dramatically in the 3rd house of your local neighborhood, friends and allies. I mean, friends who are like siblings, aunts, uncles, and cousins, and the online world. And Uranus in the online world house of the 3rd house, like websites and social media platforms and blogging. He's bringing you a lot of invention, originality, and great ideas there if you're a Pisces sun, moon, or rising. However, now there's this like tension with somebody in a spiritual authority position over you in that 9th house. This is a traditional Vedic house of the father. Possibly some of you could have a conflict with a father or father figure as well. Try not to let it take you down, because the day before and the day of this Uranus combat energy and rebellion energy against Mars and stuff, you have a beautiful position of Sun in your 9th house sextiling Pluto in your 11th. Now, that can be really a good sense of moving into a new level of authority and power over and with groups of people, in being having your influence level rise and your reputation as well, especially with the Sun in the house of its joy. So don't it's like two, sweet and sour, two things are going on at once here. And I think that the Mars combat energy in the 9th house can also just be a travel thing. Mars in the 9th is trips and travel. Like Mars likes to take trips and journeys and adventures. 9th house is foreign lands and foreign shores. Uranus is like rebellion and upsets from the 3rd house, which also is airplanes, trains, and automobiles. So for some of you Pisces, you want to board the plane and the plane is broken. You want to cross the border and your vaccine passport is not working properly. You might run into some of those difficulties. So watch out for that. Visas are also the 9th house, so are law and courtroom events. So you could be going to battle over a court event or a legal affair. And that's Mars in your 9th, that's your lawyer in that case. But with Uranus in that rebellious mood in the 3rd house, maybe a sibling, aunt, uncle, or cousin is trying to tip the apple cart over and not in your favor. Alrighty, next, moving on. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. And I'm an Aries sun and moon, folks. So I feel this one. This is Mars in our 8th house of wills, inheritances, like, taxes, tax rebates, spousal money, alimony, palimony, business income and revenue, royalty income, passive income, investment monies. So that's other people's money stuff. And Mars is up there in your 8th house, and he'll be there until, mid-December. And he's opposing Uranus this week on the 17th. And that energy is really intense because Uranus is in a money house too. The 2nd house of your earnings, your possessions. Now, this could be Mars trying to cut something out that's a possession, like telling you to sell something, like it's time to sell your stamp collection in order to finance something, or it's time to sell a stock that you really should get rid of. Uranus has got his own rebellious, independent, freedom-loving thing going, and he's not so sure about it in the 2nd house of money with an exalted moon on the 17th. He'd be like, okay, well, I don't know about that. Let's stick with this kind of like raking in the dough and let's hold on to the possessions maybe. Like he'd push against whatever Mars is trying to get going. So there's definitely something going on in the financial corridor on the 16th, 17th, and 18th for a lot of Aries. Now, Pluto is and secrets. Aha. The 8th house is things that people don't tell you that are hidden from you. Secrets people keep from you. Mars is like slicing through there. Anybody didn't tell you something secretive, especially about money, the truth may come out during this transit. And the rebellion in the 2nd house with Uranus could be you, with an exalted moon there, to stand in your ground to clear the air about this financial secret and push back. You may be able to also come up with some passionate, new, exciting money-making opportunity, because it's not always bad. Mars is passion. He's in a money house. Uranus is inventive and electric and eccentric energy. So this could be a big, huge invention of a new, passionate money investment or direction for you. Sun is powering up a sextile to Pluto from your 8th house of money that we just talked about to Pluto in your 10th house, and that 10th house is your career. So a lot of you are definitely feeling this momentum that's starting to be obvious to you, that you can get more money than you've had before through things to do with your career. And I'm excited for all of us Aries people who are feeling that energy right now. I'm definitely feeling that in my life as well. I've come up with a great new course I'm going to be teaching next year. I'm not even going to tell you the name of it. It's NDA, top secret, non-disclosure, but I've built the website and everything, and I'm going to be launching it, I think, January 15th. So stay tuned for that, because it's going to be a great, great course. And it's going to be 6 weeks. All right, now let's keep going. I forgot where I was. Who did I just do? Aries. Oh yeah, sorry guys. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. You guys have Mars in your 7th house of spouse, marriage partner, significant other, the one you're with, and also your business partners and sometimes clients. This is other people though. So other people are Mars to you on the 17th, 16th, 17th, 18th. Someone could give you some grief. Mars, conflict, combat, arguing, opposing energy. Pepper, pass that pepper, and you're receiving it from your 1st house of your identity, Taurus. Don't take up personally. Read the 4 agreements. Whoever is all over you with some kind of verbal or even a passive aggressive combat Mars or stealthy stinging scorpionic ouch, try not to take it personally, because it could just be their bad day and their projection on you. You are looking for freedom. You've got a Uranus since 2019 in earnest, a bit in 2018, going through your Taurian first house of identity. You're trying to really decide who you really want to be. And you're not going to take any kind of cookie cutter model as your way of being you in the world. You're like looking for the real, true, inventive, crazy ass, electrifying version of who you are. So whoever's opposing you may just not like that. They may want you to fit into some stupid little box that doesn't fit for who you are. So try not to get into a big argument over that with some other significant other in your life. Or business partner. And then you've got a powering up of the sun in a sextile to Pluto, which is beautiful in your 9th house. For some of you, Taurus, sun, moon, and ascendants, this is great for higher education. You are stepping into a powerful higher education, college campus kind of vibe that's really going to serve you. And you may have just been working on this since the sun's been in Scorpio since the 21st or so of October to the 22nd or so of November. Like that's your time where this is really obvious to you that you're getting a new power in that house. Anyone wants to take a trip who's a Taurus sun, moon, and rising to a foreign shore or foreign land, this is great for that too. That's another 9th house meaning, and you're powering up good movement toward getting that off the ground, maybe by buying tickets or planning your trip in advance. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign, you guys are experiencing this energy. And yeah, I'm not even sure if I'm looking at you guys half the time. Sorry about that. I've got a chart in front of me. You're experiencing this energy, guys, in your Mars is opposing in the house of your colleagues, your coworkers, your health protocols. Mars is in the house of his joy here. And so a lot of you Geminis, this is Mars doing what he wants to do, but he's joyfully doing it. So he's kind of in dignity, both by position, 6th house, and by sign. So it's a strong time for you with Mars in this work house and health protocols house, where he's been since, October 30th through to about November, to about the middle of December. With the moon Uranus energy on the 17th, exalted moon conjunct Uranus in your 12th house. It could be a powerful dream at night, a vision, an aha, an idea that comes to you in a state of reverie or a trance state of some sort. Now it is the house of hidden enemies, and this is a female energy, the moon with Uranus. So an electrifying jolt of unexpected something from a female who's been machinating behind the scenes that influences or impacts you in your health and or career or work path, the 6th house things. This can also be the repayment of a debt if somebody owes you money, because they suddenly out of the blue come back to you. Now with your sun in your 6th house of health and work protocols, sextiling now Pluto in the 8th house. This is also could be about finances to do, and in a good way though, loans and mortgages and things like that, or joint financial spousal resources being really important and flowing in a harmonious way until mid-December. And so they're happening the same time, this Mars opposition with the sun trine sextile Pluto. One thing is more sweet than the other, no doubt about it. So my warning is that I'd say that there's a tendency to get into heated battle with people in the workplace, for sure, no matter which way, or if you're employing people with your employees. So just try to take a step back and not let everything get out of control, and like temper your reactions. Say that to everyone. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. You're going to experience this in your, oh my God, my eyes are so watery from everything, the pink eye, the blepharitis. I'm going to tell all the cancers of my problems with Cancer rising. You guys are so compassionate when you're not being cold and withdrawn. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. You experience Mars in your natal 5th house, the house of your children, the house of your lovers. Certainly if you have children, especially if they're in your life because you're still raising them, watch for some rabble-rousing disagreements with your kids. And of course, if you have a love partner, you're dating someone, that could be that as well. Now, Mars is like the god of sexuality and the god of, passion. And this could be a hot, sizzling love affair that's been going on here maybe since November. I mean, October the 30th. And now there's this oppositional energy to Uranus in your 11th. And your 11th is your friends and allies and the groups you belong to. Does your lover hate the church you go to? Do your friends not like the lover? Does your child object to your time with your larger social circles? You want freedom though, and invention, and you're going outside the bounds, and you're finding, new types of dreams and wishes you've never had before. That started with Uranus in the hopes, dreams, and wishes house back in 2019 in February. And so, you're kind of going into whole new territory with what you aspire and inspire to, have in your future of your life. And maybe some of your kids just don't approve. Maybe they're like, hey, what do you think you're doing, dad or mom? So keep that in mind. There's a beautiful trine coming up though on the day before this, so on the 16th, but it'll still be playing out on November 17th between the Sun and Pluto. And that energy is going to be very powerfully giving you some substantial leverage and goodness in the house of business partnerships and significant other like marriage partners. And if you have like a client base and stuff, it powers that up as well. From the house of your joy and the joy spark, the Sun is there now, and you've been trying to get in touch with that vitality and joy spark since the Sun got there October the 20th. You've been really focused on that direction. Where's my spark of delight, my joy, my play, my wonder? But now it's applying to your marriage or to your business partnerships. Okay. Some guy's watching me through my window because I've got my diva light ringy thing on, and I can see him in his window looking at me. Oh, I want to get into my Cancer crab shell because it's kind of weird. Should I wave at him? Next time he'll have binoculars on me. All right, moving on. I never use the diva ring light because I'm usually filming in the day, but now that they did the daylight savings and like it's dark at 4:30 in Vancouver, Canada. Right now it's 4:44. It's insane. Okay. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. For you guys, you get Mars in the house of the domestic life. This is your kitchen, your hearth, your home life. Somebody's causing a ruckus. Now, Mars has been here since October 30th. It can also be construction and repairs in your home, but it could also be combat and disagreements in the home. And Mars is now opposing Uranus in your career house. Do you have somebody in your domestic private life opposing your career ambitions and directions as you harness unusual, inventive, and original ways to form a greater reputation and success in your career? And if so, what are you going to do about it? I would just lay low, honestly. And if it's about construction, that's better. But if it's about combat, put down your sword, let this day pass. November 17th, 16th, 17th, 18th will pass. You don't have to decapitate one of your family members or roommates or housemates. With this beautiful Sun coming from the 4th house of home as well, sextiling Pluto in your 6th house, things you do in and from the home are being focused and channeled a lot in the middle of this week on the 16th, 17th, 18th toward things to do with livelihood, work, but also health protocols. So, you might have bought a new trapeze thing, a jumpy thing, a new set of weights. You're finding more ways to be working out in the home. And that's another meaning of Mars, October 30th to mid-December in your 4th house. You're going to be being physically active in the home as well. And maybe this Uranus objection to the 10th house could also be somebody in authority. If you're employed and you have a boss, Uranus could be tripping up a boss or an authority figure in your workplace, maybe giving you some grief, and you're opposing that energy from your home because maybe you want to be home, but you don't want to be at the office. So see what happens. All right, let's keep going. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. You got the energy of Mars in your 3rd house of the neighborhood, your siblings, your aunts and cousins and uncles, kind of extended family, friends who are like siblings that are really close to you. This Mars means you're very active in your local neighborhood as well, and you're on the hustle there. I know that, that can be really good for things like getting a job in your neighborhood, which my daughter just did. This is also the area of the chart that represents skills-based learning and education. Some of you will learn something new, like by taking a course, but it's going to be very specific learning. But Mars is opposing Uranus in the 9th house of higher education, campuses, foreign lands and travel, spiritual practices, churches and all that stuff, religion and faith, dharma, your life's purpose. Now, somebody in your local environment just might be giving you some difficulty regarding your higher educational values and goals, regarding things to do with your desires to travel to a foreign shore. And you might have to wrestle back and forth between what you want regarding travel, for instance, and what is available for you. Uranus is erratic energy in that 9th house of foreign lands and travel. It may be very difficult to get your travel plans off the ground if that's what you're trying to do in the middle of this week. Okay, Sun is trining Pluto from the 3rd to the 5th. This is very much about your inspiration, your muse, your vitality, your sexuality, your love life, and your children. That's the 5th house where Pluto is sitting, receiving solar energy in a good way from that 3rd house of it's also your ideas in your mind and what you think, especially when the Sun is there. So what new ideas can you come up with for your life that inspire you to greater creativity, greater connection sexually and romantically with a partner, and to greater goodness with your children should you have them? Okay. Libra, Sun, Moon, and rising sign. You're the last one today because we started with Scorpio. So let's see if I can give you your due diligence and not miss a beat here. So it's about a money story, right? Mars is going through your 2nd house of earnings and possessions, self-worth, vocation, and voice, all those kinds of meanings. And food you eat. Mars here can be a food elimination diet. I kid you not. He got there like October the 30th. He'll be there till the middle of December. It often looks like cutting foods out of your diet that you don't need to be eating. But also it can look a lot like, what is it you need to go to war about and combat about regarding your possessions and your money and your earnings. And that you might have oppositional energy from things like financial investors, accountants, tax collectors. These are 8th house Uranian things, an unexpected tax bill, an unexpected lien on your property, unexpected bauble of something in the other people's money part, your spouse's money, your business partner's money. And you're kind of having to go into that aggressively to deal with that situation in the middle of the week. Now, you could also find with that Sun in the 2nd house, where it's been since about the 3rd week of October till the 3rd week of November, this has been giving you a lot of light in the house of earnings and possessions. Your attention has been going there. And now that Sun is trining Pluto in the house of real estate, the house of the mother, the house of your home. Can you extract money from that part of the chart, by that part of your life, by selling a property, by buying a property, by selling a possession in a home you own? Sell the grand piano that you never use for a few $1,000 and instead put that money to some other use. So those are thoughts, just making stuff up. But a lot of this looks like money, land, real estate, and investments, and a lot of energy going on in the middle of the week there. But with Uranus in the 8th house, some of it's surprising. And because it's combative with Mars, it's not necessarily a positive surprise, but you'll be taking strong action to deal with it, to control it, or to rectify it, because Mars is in dignity in Scorpio. All right, done. Oh my God, I'm gonna go put some cold compress on my eyes. All right, guys, if anyone has a cure for blepharitis, which is where your eyes get swollen for no good reason other than I was born with my dad's genetic propensity for dry eye syndrome, and you have some tips besides castor oil, I welcome them. Put them in the comments below. All right, ciao guys. It was great chatting with you, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Mwah.